Okay, everyone, will get started well, I was going to say in about a minute, but it's 10 o'clock on my clock. And I did just get a message that there is perhaps not a quorum, but go ahead and get the meeting started and we'll wait a little bit. It is a pleasure to call the meeting of the Management Labor Advisory Committee to order. This is for February 1st, 2024. I am Patrick Priest, co-chair and representative of the Management Caucus. And it's my pleasure to be here today and to chair this meeting. Very important work that we do, and I really appreciate everybody's attention and civility in the matters that we have before us. With that, I will turn it over to our administrator, Terry Watson, to take a roll call.
Yes, I would be happy to do that. Let's see. Matt is not here today. Scott Strickland.
Present.
Margaret.
I'm here.
And Sarah Merrick is not here today. Sarah Duckwell. I see her. Okay. Ryan Hearn.
Present.
Stacy Llewellyn.
Present.
And Patrick. Okay, and Andrew. And Andrew is here as well. Okay, great.
So I'm taking it that we do not have a quorum because of lack of attendance. All right, well, I will address that as we have action items. The first item on our agenda is public comment, and we've just held this aside some time for comments that maybe weren't included on the agenda, and I'll open it up to anyone on this call that maybe has some public comment. Hands raised. I'll flip through the little boxes on my screen. I don't see any. Do you know of any, Terry, that we're waiting for?
I do not see any, Coach.
All right, well, we will move on from that to our first action item that we can't take any action on, which is reviewing the minutes of the meeting of January 4th that I was not in attendance for. I don't know, is there any comment other than a vote in terms of the minutes themselves? Is there anything that anybody had took to? All right, well, they look good, and I'm sorry, Terry, that we'll have to move them to the next agenda because we cannot act on them.
Okay. No problem.
All right, the next item on the agenda is department updates, and so I'll turn it right back over to you.
Okay, Lauren Eldridge with the Workers' Compensation Board. Yes, but it's very soft. Lauren, can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, I can. Is that a little better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I apologize, my camera is not working, but thank you, co-chairs and members, for having me today. The board has no case update at this time.
You heard that loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now for the division, I'm going to hand it over to Andrew for a quick update.
Hi. Oh, there we go. Hey, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to give a real quick update on the small business ombuds recruitment. I mentioned this at the last meeting. We have gone through the first round of interviews and have just picked, and they may not even know this yet, but the next round of interview finalists. So they are going to be notified. They might have been, but they're going to be notified this week of that. We're also scheduling the next, and which will be the final round of interviews, looking to hopefully have those next week. There'll be kind of an executive panel that will have someone from the governor's office along with myself, on that. This position does require the appointment of the director and the governor. So someone from the governor's office will be there. And we're also going to have kind of an internal stakeholder panel and an external stakeholder panel. The co-chairs of MLAC, this was the direction that I got. We're inviting the co-chairs of MLAC or anyone they'd like to designate, the Workers' Comp Chair Board, our current ombuds, both small business and for Oregon workers, and some other relevant staff. So looking forward to hopefully having those interviews concluded next week, and before session's over, have someone appointed to the position. That's our goal. So we'll keep the committee updated, and thank you in advance for your participation.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, so for the workers' comp update, I just wanted to let all the MLAC members know that you have training in Workday. Yay! So if you could take care of that, that would be great. And if you have any questions, just email me. I'm happy to help you with anything that you may need. Workers' compensation has a rules hearing coming up on Wednesday, February 21st from 3 to 4. That rules hearing is on the 009s, 010s, and 015s, and it's here in the building, room F, or it's a virtual hearing, so you can participate either way. Just wanted to put that reminder in. And we did have a question from comms about our website. We have information on there from COVID-19, from the 2019 meetings and the 2020 meetings. And they wanted to know if the committee was okay with removing that information. Normally we keep a 3-year retention schedule, but they were wanting to know if they could remove that. So that is a question to the committee.
Carrie, is that something that requires a vote?
No, we just wanted to ask, and if everybody's okay with it, they would like to remove that information.
Are there any comments from the members of the caucus? Any concerns? Margaret?
I guess I don't understand the implications of it, but I'm assuming what it means is that the information would come off of the website, but would, if anyone ever asked in the past, did you have a COVID warning or something, that information would still be available? But I guess unless there are some implications that we don't understand, it seems pretty routine.
Yes, Margaret, that's correct. We've removed a lot of our COVID-19 information on most of our stuff, and MLAC has I believe it's a 20-year retention schedule. So we do have the information. It just wouldn't be on the website, is my understanding. So.
Good question, Margaret. Any other questions? I saw you appeared, Ryan. You went on camera. Was it because you had a big opinion about keeping this material, or?
No, I apologize. I thought my camera was on that whole time.
Oh, okay. Oh, no worries, no worries. All right, Terry, I know you talked with Scott and I, and we felt similar to Margaret, and I think there is no disagreement with it being taken off of the website from the caucus members, I think is what I'm seeing. Although not everybody on the Labor Caucus is here. I don't know. Scott, do you want to take that chance, that those that aren't present?
Yeah, I don't foresee any critical issue being raised. I know we all had such fun on MLAC through COVID that, you know, it's hard to let those memories fade into the archive, but I think we'll survive.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, are there any other department updates, Terry?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right, well, we will move on to a legislative concept presentation from SAFE, and hopefully Ivo Trummer, Government Affairs Director, is on the line. Hi, Ivo.
Mr. Co-Chair, thank you. And I hope you can hear me, and my video is now on. I've clicked a number of times. Mr. Co-Chair and members of MLAC, good morning. Thank you for having me. For the record, Ivo Trummer, Government Relations Director for SAFE. We are the state's public workers' comp insurer, have been around for over 100 years. Thank you for having me. I have hot off the press, except it is actually not hot off the press updates for you. As a reminder, I presented to MLAC, I believe in the December meeting, about the basic idea of the concept, clarifying in statute insurance fraud done by very, very few bad actors on the business side and the employer side. We have had a legislative concept. We have a -1 that's on the docket that you have in front of you. Please disregard the -1 and the original concept. After having received very thoughtful feedback from our friends and stakeholders, and after conversations with the chief sponsor, the chief sponsor and I were on the phone last night with Legislative Counsel, and they are drafting which will probably be a -2. Don't listen to the number. That could be a -3 too, I'm assuming. That will basically do the same thing as the -1 with a couple of fundamental changes. We are moving it from a felony to a civil penalty to make sure we are kind of in line with other states. We think that is still a significant improvement over the status quo and will allow us to hold bad actors accountable. I don't have the language, so I'm hoping to kind of ask for your patience until we have it. We will share it with MLAC and with our friends, and then hopefully be back with you next week to discuss the concept.
Or in a couple of weeks, right? Or next week. We're gonna have a special MLAC meeting for this, or?
I certainly would hope MLAC would entertain that
Okay.
possibility.
Okay. All right. I see a hand raised from Scott Strickland.
So I know you said, you know, we don't have anything in front of us right now, and you'll get it as soon as LC puts it out. I know you said you moved down to a civil penalty. I thought part of the idea was parity with the penalty for workers currently. Is it just a civil penalty if a worker commits fraud in this context, or is it a felony for a worker and it would be then a civil penalty for an employer, or do you have any comments on that yet, or should we wait until we get the -2 or 3?
I would wait for the -2 or 3, whichever will be. Let me put it that way. What we discussed late last night is a civil penalty at the amount of $125,000, including an additional restitution to the insurer to make sure that the system and all the other insured employees don't have to cover the costs of the occasional bad actor, and the recovery of reasonable investigative costs by the investigative agency. We do think that is a significant improvement over the status quo, Scott, and a great step forward in the right direction.
I see Director Stolfi has his hand raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ivo, do you know if this will be within the insurance code as a civil penalty or outside of the insurance code? Obviously makes a difference as to whether DCBS and DFR specifically would be responsible for enforcing it, which could raise, fiscal considerations, or if this is just a simple civil issue outside of the insurance code.
Director Stolfi, I don't know the answer where the drafter will put it in, so stay tuned.
Any other comments? I think I was all ready, Ivo, to go through our legislative guidelines and the document that we took so much time and care to put together, but it seems as though we should wait until we get the -2, -3 before we ask all our questions.
No, absolutely. And Mr. Co-Chair, I do want to point out that we put in writing answers to those questions and submitted them back in December. Obviously, some of them will now change, and we'll update that document, but there is one on the record already to be found on your website. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. All right, well, anything else before we move on to the next item? I see a hand raised from a stakeholder, Derek Singston from OBI. Also, Kirsten Adams, so I will let whoever goes off mute first. Okay, there you go.
There, hey, I got it, finally, sorry. Derek Singston with Oregon Business and Industry. A little bit about us. We are Oregon's most this comprehensive statewide business association with members in each of Oregon's 36 counties, representing every industry. Our 1,600 members employ over 250,000 Oregonians. I want to say foremost that we don't oppose holding bad actors accountable when those bad actors commit workers' compensation fraud. We do have concerns and oppose the legislative concept as you've seen it so far today. We are eager to see the new draft that Evo has discussed this morning. And a couple of things I wanted to note about where we're at now. We appreciate that the high standard in the bill requires proving the company knowingly misrepresented its payroll forms. That helps prevent the bill from being used against employers for mistakes or good faith disagreements. But we do continue to have concerns that even with that language, the bill would take a broad sweep against employers for a purportedly small problem. Even SAFE recognizes that this is not a widely abused thing and doesn't happen all that often. Happy to have, we're engaged in the conversations on how this new, more precise approach would solve the issues of workers' compensation fraud. One thing that I would like to, the OBI would like to see is allowing the Workers' Compensation Division impose the civil penalties discussed today. Doing so, I think would more directly would lead to more precise direct action toward the bad actors in Oregon, and rather than imposing felony liability, it would respect Oregon's limited judicial resources. Thank you.
Kristen Adams, did you also have a comment? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to comment. Kirsten Adams with Associated General Contractors. Our membership, our contractors, about 760 contractors throughout the state and in Southwest Washington. First, I want to thank SAFE and the Senator for working with us on the issue. We share some of the concerns that Derek brought forward about the felony that was proposed. We think that the penalty that's being discussed and talking with our members, that has a huge deterrent factor. And I think that will get at the goals without some of the potential unintended consequences that come with a felony charge. So in terms of just some of the cost implications and everything else that comes with defending against that when there might be very real disputes of fact about classifications and whatnot. So just wanted to thank the bill proponents for working with us on this and look forward to the next one and look forward to talking about this issue further. Thank you.
Any other comments from stakeholders or anybody else on the line? I see Scott Strickland has his hand raised.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. So in reading, and I know I shouldn't be reading the -1 or the initial that I have, so apologies, but there's not any difference in the penalty that's being proposed in the -2 or 3. It's just whether it's classified as a civil penalty or classified as a felony. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate, Mr. Co-Chair. Now, conceptually, I haven't seen the new draft, but that is accurate.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I see no other hands raised. I will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a work plan update. And I will turn it over, I believe, to Administrator Watson to tell us about a Spanish notice of compliance poster with QR code.
Co-Chair, before I do that, can I just say that the bills did drop last night. I'm in the process of reading through 280 of them. 4 have been brought to my attention, and I've let the respective parties know that they need to come before MLAC, and that's where I just wanted to give you a status update, okay?
Okay, that's
So
fine.
hopefully we'll hear from them as soon as possible. as far as the work plan update, before we go to the Spanish notice of compliance with Angela, at the last meeting, Scott had asked, or Coach Strickland, sorry, Mike, it just went right out of my head, had talked about a flow chart. And we actually had a draft of a flow chart. So Baba, could you share that real quick? I just wanted to share that with the committee. So I was shocked. I mean, not shocked because our communications people are fabulous, but I wanted to share with the committee that we had a flow chart, and this is now on our injured worker website at the bottom. So I wanted you all to see it. There are links in it to the different forms that we have available. And Angela, who's going to talk about the Spanish notice of compliance, this is part of her fabulous work. So if you have any questions or comments or anything that you would, for Angela, we can now hand it over to her to talk about the Spanish notice of compliance poster with the QR code. There are some good news and a little bit not so good news.
I see a hand raised. Sarah Duckwall, did you have a question on the?
Yes, thank you, Co-Chair Priest. A question about, I love the start of this, and I will definitely look through it. Just other languages, I'm always going to bring that up. If we could make sure at least Spanish is represented, that would be amazing. But this looks like great work, and looking forward to delving into it. Thank you.
A chat comment from Christian Adams that says, thanks for sharing it. It looks great, just to put it in the record. So thank you, Christian, for your comment. I think we're ready to congratulate Angela on her great work so far and hear what else she's worked on.
Yes. Angela, are you there? She was in the meeting. Where is she?
There's an Angela that's one of my boxes.
Yeah, sorry, having a hard time unmuting. There I am. Apologies for the delay. Yeah, hello. I'm Angela Van Grensen with DCBS Communications. I did put together that flow chart, and if you have any changes, please let me know. We can probably work on a Spanish version at some point as well, but that also comes to the issue that Terry was mentioning with the Spanish webpage. I understand you guys are requesting a Spanish version for injured worker overview webpage. We would love to do a Spanish webpage. The challenge is we don't have all of the content translated into Spanish in any of the WCD websites. I'm proposing that we build a Spanish version of WCD site at some point, and we can definitely cover this content in Spanish as you requested once we get to that point. I asked for this little hold off on this, a little bit of a delay, because when we build Spanish web content, it's appropriate to build out all of the content in Spanish as opposed to just one single page here and there. It's part of user experience and navigation. It's pretty critical that we plan things out so that Spanish speakers are being navigated to appropriate content, and they don't just get to one section and it's only in English when we've been promising this would be in Spanish. So it's not a no, it's just, can we get to this when we can plan things out in appropriate manner so that we are addressing the needs of Spanish speakers in its whole entirety, as opposed to just one section here and there. We don't want to, it would be an offense if we didn't plan out Spanish appropriately, if we only did one page. So it would be just kind of hold off until we can get the right amount of time to dedicate to translating content. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes, Sarah?
Thank you, Angela. It makes perfect sense, and I like the idea of doing it right versus piecemealing it. And in that context, I'm okay with moving forward with the QR code on the English versions we have. I just worry about putting the same QR code pointing to different information on the Spanish side, because I think equal information is important. So, but I don't think there should be a holdup in moving forward with English information, knowing that the Spanish is coming in equal format. It's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Thank you very much, Angela. Great work
Thank you.
so far, and sounds like you have a big task ahead of you.
Well, that's what happens when you do Spanish. I mean, translations, I should say, but it is a need that needs to happen. So we're looking forward to getting that done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I did receive a request, Administrator Watson, to put into the record the 4 bills that you are working on or have identified as potentials for MLAC to look at. And I don't know if you're ready to do that.
I can just give you the numbers. Does that work? Is that okay, Coach?
It's okay with me.
Okay. So we have House Bill 4005. We have House Bill 4010. We have Senate Bill 1580, which that's the one that Evo was just talking about. And we have Senate Bill 1584. And let me just say that I really need to go back through and reread the bills because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
All right. Thank you very much for giving us that early notice. In this short session, time is of the essence. So. All right, any other work plan updates that that the department?
I just wanted to share that after the last meeting, I went through and updated the work plan. So if anybody has any comments or any questions.
Sarah's got her hand raised.
Thank you, Co-Chair Priest. Terry, do you mind sending us the flow chart for one, just so we can kind of look through it that way? That would be helpful. And then in terms of trainings, I was looking through it this morning. I'd like mental health to come to light as a topic of interest.
Okay.
Not sure if everyone else feels that way. I think it's extremely important.
I do. I agree. I agree. Scott Strickland has his hand raised as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Thank you, Sarah, for bringing that up. And I think one thing too is kind of how to talk to folks experiencing a crisis and some of that kind of understanding how to connect people with resources. I know, we have the new suicide hotline and other things like that that are available. So just kind of educating everyone on what resources are available and how to connect if you need them yourself, or if someone that you care or work care for or work with is in crisis or needs help.
Are those some items to add to our work plan, or are they just sort of fleshing out things that are already on there?
My idea of fleshing it out on the educational sessions, mental health is on there, Co-Chair Priest. I would like it to move up its when we have those opportunities for education, when we're in person with a lighter agenda. I would like that to fall in line with our DEI, please.
All right, good.
Co-Chair, I just wanted to give a quick update about the DEI training presentation, if that's okay.
Yes, I was just going to segue to that myself. So go ahead.
So I've talked to our WCD internal trainer, and she is working with our with some resources that we have at DCBS, and we're looking at the April in-person meeting for that training, possibly a lunch with a presentation training afterwards, or July at the latest. So we are working on that right now. So we should have that booked for April or July.
So that would follow the regular public MLAC meeting and be a training class for caucus members. Is that correct? Sounds good. So we're segueing to upcoming meetings. We have the April one that's in person. That's the next in-person one, and we'll have perhaps our DEI training in conjunction with that. But our next meeting on the schedule is February 15th. There was a call to perhaps meet earlier than that from SAFE. With these concepts that you have, is there a need for a meeting next week?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I might have missed that question if it was directed to us.
I think I was asking the administrator because we have,
Thank you.
our
Yeah.
next meeting is February 15th. So as far as I know, MLAC doesn't meet until February 15th. But you had made a comment, Ivo, that you would like it if we met next week on your particular bill. And so I don't know if that's the normal.
Mr. Chair, if I may clarify, I'm politely asking if you would consider. So having a
Yeah.
meeting, I would expect an amendment soon, if not even today, and I will send it out to the department and to all the stakeholders and to MLAC, of course, all the members. I don't know where it'll be in committee-wise or hearing-wise when that all will happen, but given the short timelines of the session, I would expect movement even as early as next week. So want to make sure that there's time for you to carefully consider.
Thank you. And I'm very respectful, so don't take it that I didn't think so.
Thank you.
All right, Sarah Duckwall has a question.
Thank you, Co-Chair Priest. I think in light of the other bills and possibly more that could be in our purview, that it would behoove us to meet next week as well.
Okay. A vote to meet next week and or a couple votes. We have anybody else? I mean, I guess, do we need to perhaps use this time to make sure we'll have a quorum next week, and at what time? Or
I could meet the same time on the 8th.
I won't be available as well. Is that the normal process? I think it is. I think we meet at the same, so Thursdays at 10 a.m. is our normal process. I am able to meet at 10 a.m. for 1 hour.
Okay.
I guess it would be Scott's turn to be the chair. So.
Yes, I am available Thursday.
Cece, when are you available? Or do you have any time on Thursday?
I could do earlier. I could do, well, actually, no, I'm available in the afternoon. No, actually, I'm not. Thursday's completely booked. Apologies. There's some big team meetings going on, so I'm not able on Thursday. Sorry.
I would be available.
There'd be a quorum of management caucus members. We need 3, right? And I don't know about Scott. We have Scott. We don't have a quorum of labor members here, but Margaret, are you available on Thursday?
I'm available for the 10 to 12 slot, but not available in the afternoon.
I can reach out to Matt and Sarah immediately following this meeting and follow up as to their availability, but I am available pretty much at any time Thursday the 8th.
There you have it. It sounds like we have a meeting at 10 a.m. on February 8th, and I will rely on the division to notice the meeting properly and to make sure that we have a quorum, Margaret, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, just to clarify, that this is not going to substitute for the 15th. We will be meeting on the 8th and the 15th, is that correct?
Yes, we're nodding head that, that the administrator would like us to please leave the 15th open. This is in light of a short session and limited time to bring bills forward.
Yes. Co-chair, as soon as this meeting concludes, we will go put all the Zoom, put everything together and get it out in an email ASAP. Okay.
All right, thank you. Scott Strickland has his hand raised.
Yeah, just real quick. I know may be helpful, maybe the co-chairs and staff at WCD can touch base about the upcoming legislative deadlines and other things and send out a few calendar holds for possible meetings moving forward, because I know legislative session is messy, and short session all the more so. So that might be helpful, and we could at least contemplate if that would be helpful.
That's a good idea. Thank you. Thank you for that good suggestion. All right. I do not see any other hands raised. Is there any other business to bring before this meeting? Yes, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, wait, I can only adjourn the meeting. I don't have a quorum of people. It's a lot of power I have, but I'll just pause for a minute, make sure there's nothing else anybody wants to bring up. We have lots of time left in our scheduled time, so.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes,
Patrick, I would say that in light of the increased meetings that we're having in the future, it would be great if we could adjourn the meeting, and I would fully support your decision to do that.
all right, thank you, Margaret. I appreciate that. Terry, I heard you about to say something as well.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could, if you and Scott had a few minutes, maybe we could hop on a call and I could get you those deadlines right away.
Yeah,
If you
I
have
do
time.
time right after this meeting, so I'm happy to if you want to send a quick Teams thing, I'm happy to hop onto it.
Okay, great.
That works for me.
Okay.
Perfect.
With all my conference members, so thank you, everyone, and I will adjourn the meeting with Margaret's blessing. Thank you, Margaret.